wait for the day when we throw these in the trash.
Amen.
The topic assigned is, why do I love All Saints? There are many reasons. Before I go into that, I want to tell you a little bit about myself and my path, starting at age 12, and my path with Jesus, and how I got here at All Saints. I'm certainly blessed in so many ways. Lord willing, next month I'll be 95 years young. And my bride will be 92, and we still enjoy relatively good health. So that is truly a blessing. Again, Lord willing, in December we'll celebrate our 73rd wedding anniversary. I'm not old enough for that. And the time has just thrown by. A bit of history. I was baptized in the Brethren in Christ Church, a Dunker church like Mennonite. That's when I accepted Jesus as my Savior. Never thought at that point in time that I would end up as an Episcopalian. You talk about a difference. At the time that I was going there, the men sat on one side, the women on the other. No stained glass windows, not even curtains. No organ, no piano. The song leader had a pitch pipe to start us in the right key, and that was acapella. Everything went well until 1944, when I was excommunicated. Yep, I was tossed out. I don't know if you can guess why. Those of you old enough to remember World War II, and the Brethren in Christ, the Mennonites, and the Amish all believed in being conscientious objectors, which means they won't fight. The church didn't give you a choice. The church made a decision for you. Well, my uncle, my cousin, and myself they called it disenfellowshipped, not excommunicated. But we were kicked out, literally, because we went into the military to serve our country. That left a very bitter taste in my mouth, and I didn't go to any church for quite a while. After I got out of the Army and I was singing in a male quartet at a church in Mount Joy, one of the songs we sang was "Stand Up for Jesus." At that point in my life, I was still a smoker. After the service, the pastor came out and saw me smoking. He said, "I don't want you to ever put your footsteps in my altar again, as long as you have the devil's cigarette in your mouth." So now I don't go to any church. Well, I met my bride-to-be. She was a cradle Episcopalian. And we decided early on that if we had children, we didn't want them to have to decide which church to go to. We wanted to go to the same one. And chose Episcopal. I told Mother Angel that my first visit to the Episcopal Church in Mount Joy, St. Luke's, I walked out there and said, "Not for me, never in 100 years." The priest came down the aisle, swinging the incense. Never seen anything like this. You talk about contrast from the plain church. You know what? I kept going, and eventually it became a very important part of my life. I've been here since 1990. Done a few things over those years. Served in the vestry, chaired the finance committee, chaired the accessible to all, which will lead to why I love All Saints. How many of you were here for the loud offering for the accessible to all kickoff? Some in the back, some in the right. Dr. Glenn came down the aisle with a metal bed wheelbarrow. And as he came by the pews, people dumped their coins. And you talk about loud, it was. Frankly, I don't remember, and I couldn't find this documentation. Don Weiss might know, but I think we raised something over $500 from that amount. But it was not a rosy start. We kicked off this campaign in the Undercroft, and it was not a very pleasant kickoff. I don't know how many of you were there, how many remember, but we were challenged that we were going to bankrupt the church by making this commitment. Not happy at all. And thankfully, the vestry at that time, and our priest at that time, and the bishop approved the kickoff, and we forged ahead. After 5 years as chairman of the Accessible to All, I decided it was time for new leadership, fresh leadership. That's when our present treasurer, Don Weiss, stepped up to the trough and did an excellent job the next 5 years. As everyone knows, he's also done a fine job as treasurer of our church. We're going to miss you, Don, in that role. What I love most, and I love so much about All Saints today, but is the fact that we are accessible to all. I thought of it yesterday at Marge's funeral, that anybody with handicap can get in and join us. Before that, we had challenges where we literally had to carry people up the stairs and down the stairs and into the church. We're so blessed. And the capital campaign, Don can give you the details, but I know that raised in excess what the goal was, and that's a lot of that. So yeah, I love so many things. We've had excellent priests, which I've enjoyed working with, including our most recent So now you know a little bit more about this old codger. I hope you'll forgive me. I am seriously hearing impaired, and last Sunday I brought my pledge up before it was time. It was the announcement was, okay, bring your pledges, and to bring Laura up here for her presentation. So it gets me in trouble. Craig woke me up last Sunday when it was time. I appreciate that. But thank you so much. It's a joy to be with all.